Joining us now is her congresswoman. Congressman Brad Sherman's district includes Pacific Palisades, a longtime Democrat representing the area. Congressman, good to see you.
Good to be back again.
So let's talk about the Pacific Palisades from where you're at. Where are we at on the recovery?
Well, they're doing a pretty good job of debris removal. They've already taken the real toxic stuff out. They did that one in less than 45 days. And now it's a matter of providing the financial assistance to people and getting them the rebuild permits, which is a city issue. But people think that the federal government comes in with a lot of aid, and not so much unless we get a supplemental passed, as we've done with other huge disasters. But so far, we don't have any movement on the Republican side.
Well, let's talk real quick about the permitting, then we'll do the aid. So it is a city issue, although a lot of people are probably frustrated at you and get confused by the jurisdictional issues there. Are you frustrated that there aren't more permits being issued so far? Just a handful so far.
I hear a lot of complaints, and an issue that faces the city is whether they want to go to independent contractor, non-government employees, bring them aboard for a while, or whether they can do this in-house. But they ought to be fast, especially if somebody's rebuilding the same size or no more than 10% more. That is a right that they have to do.
In terms of the funding, we saw you with President Trump when he came and visited here. Clearly, you're one of his favorite people in that room. Somebody tried to impeach him the first time around. How is that going behind the scenes? Are at least on this issue, are you all able to negotiate okay, or where are we at?
The only thing that the administration has done is carry out the existing laws, which I used to take for granted, but this is Trump.
And this is money that Joe Biden put in place.
Yes, and even before the disaster. We put a lot of money into FEMA and to SBA last year, and now that money is available under the basic minimum aid formula, and that money is going out. But we need to do more than provide a maximum of $86,000 in grants if somebody lost their home and is uninsured. And we need to provide more than a $500,000 or $600,000 loan if somebody is uninsured and they have to rebuild in the Palisades.
And we know Governor Newsom has asked for some $40 billion. What are you hearing from the Speaker of the House? I know he's talked about the possibility of putting conditions on that aid.
Well, the conditions are absolutely absurd, because I voted for aid for Louisiana, which is where the Speaker's from, even though I hate their abortion laws. It never occurred to me that we would turn to people in Louisiana and say, you stay on your cousin's couch until your state legislature adopts California abortion laws.
But what if the conditions have to do with the aid? What if it says there needs to be a special master, or we don't trust that you're going to spend the money well, so it needs to be spent this, and that? Would you be more open to that?
I'm certainly open to that. And we need to show Congress that we're going to build back better.
Yeah.
And we already have that in state law. If you build in a fire zone, and this is it, after 2008, you have to meet a much higher standard. And so everything that gets rebuilt is going to meet that standard.
Is there concern, though, that that might make it take longer and be more expensive?
It shouldn't. So much of what makes fire hardens a house is pretty easy if you do it at the beginning, and very expensive if you try to retrofit.
Yeah. All right. Well, we recently had one of your new competitors on the show, Jake Rakoff, who used to work for you in your office. He's a young Democrat, saying that we need to have a new generation. He wants term limits, no corporate PAC money, monthly in-person town hall meetings. What's your response to him?
Well, he just moved into the area, so he may not know. I mean, he worked for me in Washington, but he may not know how involved I am in the San Fernando Valley and the West LA part. And I know you're going to plug my April 26th town hall coming up. We'll have 2,000 people there. But what's even better is the telephone town halls. We had 7,000 people on the last one. So we're certainly keeping in touch with people. And of course, we have those concerts in the park. I don't know if you come by Woodland Hills. I'm standing there in front of my booth, not only for the first set of ABBA songs, but the second set of the ABBA cover band.
Okay, well, then
so unless you are unwilling to miss a few ABBA songs, you can come talk to me anytime.
What is your favorite ABBA song?
You got me.
You don't have any? Not Dancing Queen?
Okay,
Mamma Mia?
Dancing.
You know, that was John McCain's favorite song of all songs. John McCain, the war hero, loved ABBA and loved Dancing Queen.
See, I agree with Republicans on something.
On something. There it is. So in terms of where we're at as a country, I know in the first term you were known for pushing for President Trump's impeachment. We're now at a point where some of your colleagues say we're in a constitutional crisis, as he seems to be not necessarily listening to what the courts are telling him to do when it comes to the immigration issue. What do you think is the strategy for Dems now? Obviously, the impeachment strategy didn't get him out the first time around. What do you think, what have you learned from what happened in the past to do differently this time around?
We've got to litigate. We've got to legislate when we can and show people and put Republicans on the spot to vote for restraints. We have to demonstrate. And ultimately, we have to win the 2026 election, because if he can look at that 2026 election as furthering and sanctifying his first 2 years in office, that may be our last election.
You really think so? Some people say it's hyperbolic.
Well, he's the one who has said he doesn't just want to ship immigrants down to El Salvador. He wants to ship bad people who are American citizens and born in America. And I don't think I'll be among the top 100, but clearly when he thinks so many of us, perhaps you too, are bad people. And if we find our way in El Salvador, hopefully we'll have time, we'll have a soccer league. So we have that problem. You've got him saying that he's going to be president in 2029. Ignore the constitutional limit of 2 terms.
Steve Bannon's at least saying that. Yeah.
And Trump is saying that, we're going to do that some way, one way or another. So I don't think it's hyperbole to think that he's may very well, if he has that boost.
Yeah.
That's why 2026 is the critical election. And the number one thing we can do now, but certainly next year, is to make sure we pick up the additional seats.
So, as we said, you're holding a town hall. We want to put that information up on the screen for people. It is Saturday at Cal State Northridge. You can reserve a seat or submit a question at the website you see right there on your screen. Congressman, thanks so much for coming in. We appreciate the time.
Good to be with you.
Nice to see you.